Good morning, boys and girls. I know that some of you probably did go to church today and some of you stayed home, but I just wanted to go ahead and make this just because I know that church today was mainly for the adults and I wanted to still have something available for kids. So today, to get started, you are going to need 2 pieces of paper, tape, a bandana, or something you could use for a blindfold, and some pencils and crayons or markers, something to draw with, okay? So what you're going to do on one of your pieces of paper is you are going to draw a tree. And then on your other piece of paper, you are going to draw a lot of people. I only have one, but you're gonna draw some people, and I'm not very good at drawing, so I just made a stick person. If you wanna draw a stick person, go for it. If you're a better artist than me and you wanna make your picture more detailed, you can go for it. But you're going to need, I'd say let's do maybe like 3 of these people for each person who's going to play our game, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to take your picture of your tree and you're going to tape it up on your wall. Then you're going to take some more tape and put it on the back of your person. Then you're going to take your bandana or sunglasses or whatever you have so that you can put it over people's eyes so they can't see. And for however many years old you are, that's how many times you're going to turn around. And then someone's going to point you towards the tree on the wall. You're going to take your person with the tape on it, and you're going to try and tape this person, see if you can get him either up. Whoops, he was upside down. Put him up in the tree or maybe climbing on the tree. And if you don't have a blindfold, you can just be honest and do it with your eyes closed, no peeking, maybe a hand over your eyes. And you can get 3 tries to see how many people you can get up in the tree or climbing the tree. Or if you maybe miss and put them off on the wall or put them down below the tree or put them off to the side of the tree, we'll see how many people you can get in the tree. So 1 paper for your tree, 1 paper to draw lots of little people, some tape, and something for a blindfold. Tape your tree on the wall, piece of tape on the back of your person, close your eyes or use a blindfold, spin around. If you're 5 years old, spin around 5 times and see how close you can get your person to the tree. Have fun and go ahead and pause the video to play the game now. All right, I hope you had lots of fun playing your game and I hope no one got too dizzy. If you haven't guessed, our story today is going to be about Zacchaeus. Now, Zacchaeus was, I bet when most people think of Zacchaeus, they think of someone who was short. Zacchaeus was a very short man. In fact, if you know the song Zacchaeus, that's the very first thing the song says. He was a wee little man. But there's something else I want you to know about Zacchaeus that's also very important. Zacchaeus was a tax collector, and a tax collector worked for the government, worked for like a mayor or a president, someone like that. And his job was to go to each house and collect money for taxes and give that money to the government. And they would use that money to help build their roads or to help get supplies to school. Your parents pay taxes still to this day, and that's what our tax money gets used for things that everybody uses. And you would think a tax collector, that's a very important job, and people should like Zacchaeus. But here's the problem. Way back when Zacchaeus was around, tax collectors weren't necessarily very honest. So if the taxes that were due at that time was $5, Zacchaeus would go to the house and he would knock on the door and he would say, "Hello, I'm here to collect your taxes. You owe $10. And he would take $10 from them instead of just 5. And the extra money that he took from them, he would keep for himself. Oh, that's stealing, and that's not okay. And most people knew that this is what tax collectors did, that they asked for more money than they were supposed to, and they kept the extra. But there wasn't anything they could do about it. They had to give him the money he asked for. It was his job. And there wasn't really anybody they could go to and be like, hey, he's taking more money than he's supposed to. So nobody liked Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus did not have any friends. In fact, people probably hated Zacchaeus because he was a liar and a thief. So those are the two important things you need to know about Zacchaeus. First, he was a very short man. Second, he wasn't really a good man either. Now that you know those things, let's go ahead and get our story started. Zacchaeus was too little. He was too little to reach high things. He was too little to see over big things. Now, this story is probably a little bit silly. I don't think he would have been quite this little, because that looks almost like a kid. He was probably bigger than a kid, but not much. And one day, Zacchaeus almost didn't get to see Jesus because he was too little. And again, I don't think he only came up to people's knees. I think they're exaggerating and making him a little smaller than he really was, just to really show you how important it was that he was small. Jesus is coming down the street, somebody said. Let's go out to see him. Now, Zacchaeus wanted to see what Jesus looked like. So when other people hurried outside, Zacchaeus hurried too. Now, why do you think all these people want to go and see Jesus? I think they've heard about Jesus and they've heard about some of the miracles he's done. Maybe they've heard about how he fed over 5,000 people with just one boy's lunch. Maybe they heard how he walked on water, or how he made a blind man see and a deaf man hear. Maybe they've even heard about how Jesus has brought back people from the dead. Jesus is kind of like a celebrity. Everybody's heard of him, and everybody wants to go and see him. But what's the most important thing about Jesus? And why was he able to do these things at all? I mean, I don't know about you, but the rain this week was kind of a bummer. And if I had been able to go outside like Jesus, when he was on a boat and there was a big storm, he stepped outside and said, "Stop!" And the rain and the storm and the wind and the thunder stopped. If I had tried that earlier this week when it was raining, gone outside and told the rain, "Stop! I want to go outside and play," it wouldn't have listened to me. So why is Jesus able to do these things? It's because Jesus is God's Son. And yes, Jesus came to help people and show them that he loves them. But the most important reason Jesus came was to save people, to save sinners, which is all of us who do bad things. Isn't there someone in our story who does bad things? The little street was full of daddies and mommies and grandpas and grandmas and uncles and aunts and boys and girls and friends, all wanting to see Jesus. Look at that crowd. That crowd might be a problem for Zacchaeus. "Here he comes," a man shouted. "Here comes Jesus. I see him. I see him." Who do you think can't see him? Zacchaeus tried to see too. First he looked this way, then he looked that way. But there were too many people, and Zacchaeus was too little. He couldn't see Jesus at all. Look how sad and disappointed he is. That would be like if your favorite music group came and everybody else got to go and hear them sing their songs, but you didn't. You'd feel pretty bummed and left out too. And I don't think any of these people are going to want to help Zacchaeus, because remember, they don't like Zacchaeus. He's a liar and a thief. What shall I do? Zacchaeus thought. I know. I'll run and climb the big tree. Then I can see him. Some pretty smart thinking. Two little Zacchaeus started to run. Go, Zacchaeus, go fast. He came to the tree. Climb, Zacchaeus, climb fast. Better hurry or he'll miss Jesus. Now Zacchaeus was up high. He could see the daddies coming and the mommies and the grandpas and the grandmas and the uncles and the aunts and the boys and the girls and the friends. And then, who do you think he saw? Zacchaeus saw Jesus. Jesus stopped at the big tree. He looked up right at Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, he said, hurry, come down. I'm coming to your house. Well, two little Zacchaeus did hurry. He went down that tree fast. And then happy Zacchaeus took Jesus home for dinner. Now, part of the story that they don't tell you is that when Jesus invited himself over for dinner, all the people in the town weren't very happy because they knew Zacchaeus. They knew he was a liar and a thief, and they thought Jesus didn't know that. So they started to tell him, they said, Jesus, whoa, stop. Do not go to lunch with Zacchaeus. Lots of reasons. He will probably steal something from you. He will lie to you. He's a really bad person, Jesus. And if I were you, I wouldn't hang around him because then people might think you're bad too. Well, was any of that a surprise to Jesus? Jesus already knew that. In fact, Jesus even knew Zacchaeus' name. Think about that. He walked right up to the tree and he said, Zacchaeus, come down. He didn't ask him what his name was. Jesus already knew. Jesus knew his name. Jesus knew he was a sinner who told lies and stole from people. But did that stop Jesus from loving Zacchaeus? No. That stopped Jesus from going to his house and spending time with him? No. And in fact, after Jesus' lunch with Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus realized some things. He realized what he had been doing was wrong, and he'd better fix it. So he told Jesus, Jesus, I promise you, I am not going to steal any more money from people. I'm not going to lie to them and tell them to give me more money than I'm supposed to. And all of the people who I have stolen from, who I've taken too much money from, I'm going to give it back to them. And in fact, not only am I going to give back the money that I stole, I'm going to give them back more than what I stole from them. All because he spent a day with Jesus. Jesus changed Zacchaeus' heart. And Jesus can do the same for you and me. He can help us not to do these bad things. And the most important thing of all, the whole reason Jesus came to earth was for those bad things that I do and those bad things that you do. Remember, he never did any of those. He died on the cross for us to save us from our sins, from those bad things that we do. All we have to do is be like Zacchaeus. Spend time with him. Talk to him. Tell him you know you've sinned and you're sorry. And ask for forgiveness for the bad things you've done. And then tell him you know that Jesus, you are God's son, and he sent you here to earth to die for my bad things. And then you will get to see Jesus again someday. Won't that be wonderful? All right, I have one more game for you. Remember how I told you, Jesus knew Zacchaeus' name. He didn't have to be introduced. That means Jesus knows your name. Jesus knows my name. In fact, before your mom and dad even knew your name, Jesus knew your name. So we're going to play the name game. Some of you might have played this before. You can say your name and then a favorite, something like a favorite food or favorite thing to do. And you can see if everyone can remember your name and something you like to do. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it has to start with the same letter as your name. So for Nicole, I could say that I like to, I like to count nickels. How about that? And then let's see, if my family was playing for, let's see, Nicole would be counting nickels, and maybe Clarabelle would be playing with cats. And I bet Judah would be jumping down the sidewalk, and Jared would be eating a jelly sandwich. So you have to try and remember everybody in your family's name and the thing that they're doing, and see how many things you can add before people start forgetting. So if I could make it all the way through and I can remember Nicole's counting nickels, Clarabelle's playing with cats, Judah's jumping down the sidewalk, Jared's eating a jelly sandwich, then I got to go and start back over. And I got to start with Nicole's counting nickels and being nice. Clarabelle's playing with cats and catching a ball. Judah is jumping down the sidewalk and, oh no, I forgot. Then you see how many things you can add that the people in your family can remember. See how good your memory is. Not as good as Jesus is, knowing everyone's name, but I bet some of you have a pretty good memory. I hope you have a great Memorial weekend, and we will see you all soon. Bye.